So for this video, we're going to be taking on the other half on Master Difficulty, and this is from the Isle of Madness story expansion. And this is one of the encounters where you are given a choice on how the encounter is going to go. Your choices are: you can fight the knight, which means that the game will have a flanking lane. You can fight the mage, in which case there will be a mage tower lane, or you can literally take on both lanes. Now, in the past, when I've done these kinds of tutorials, walkthroughs for the videos, I've usually done one video for each of the choices, but the truth is, because the third choice is both, we're just going to do one video and we're going to choose the one that shows both lanes so that you can kind of get a feel for what the two different lanes do. And I'm still going to include a deck code in the video description so that if you want to use the deck that I'm using, you can. But depending on which choice you choose, your deck is probably going to be a little bit different and you're just going to apply principles. So for example, this deck that I'm about to use is a tribunal control deck with a lot of actions. The idea being that you use those actions to take advantage of the mage tower lane, and then you use the creatures that you do have to play into the flanking lane, which will then buff up the auto-created creatures in the mage tower lane. Now, if you were going to just choose mage tower lane, I would suggest either tribunal again, or you could just go straight like an action mage build. And if you're going with the flanking lane, then I would suggest something like token crusader, because that allows you to create a lot of creatures in both lanes. Token spellsword would do that as well. And the benefit of that is if you're using things like scouting patrol, for example, you're creating creatures in one lane, and then your flanking creatures will buff the other ones. So there's a lot of different ways that you could tackle this particular encounter.
You do realize you're the...
What? No, that's ridiculous.
But we're going to go ahead and jump in, like I said, with a tribunal control list that has an awful lot of actions in it to take advantage of the mage tower lane. So, like I said, in the past I've done multiple videos, but I don't really feel like in this particular encounter there's that much difference. If you've seen the one that has both lanes, then you've probably seen enough. So we'll go ahead and throw the prophecy card back, but we'll keep these. And really, this plays pretty similarly to any other control style game that you would want to do, right? Our goal is going to be to get control of the board first, bleed our enemy of resources, and then go from there. So we could firebolt these, but we're okay with taking some damage, and we kind of want to get things under control here. So we're actually going to play this Bruma Profiteer over here. Also, Bruma is great in this because as you play actions and creatures get created, you'll gain health. So now, for example, we can do something like firebolt this, which will create a creature for us. Gain some health. We'll get rid of that as well. And then we're going to also play a Ward Crafter and protect this, and it also buffs it because when you play a creature in the flanking lane, these ones get buffed.
Hurt you, but I will.
Alright, the Ungolem might end up not being great for us. We shall see. Thankfully, we've got some good answers for these things. We're going to start with the Reverberating Strike here. Again, it will create a creature for us. And this is at the start of your turn, heal another random friendly creature. So
You won't foil my
let's get some damage on this, and it will heal that. We'll also take advantage of our ward and just get rid of that. Because we're potentially attacking with this again, I don't want to get this too low. I don't want to break a rune and give them extra cards if I can help it. Wow, that Ungolem paying like immediate dividends for our opponent.
Must I do everything myself?
Hand and execute. There went our plans for the heal.
You left me no choice.
Alright. Now our deck does run Ice Storm, things like that. Obviously you see the Dawn's Wrath here. Crushing Blow. We want to take out this, I think. Now, something that is worth noting is this mage tower lane is not the shadow lane, so things that show up here can be attacked right away. And so, keeping that in mind, I'm actually gonna go ahead and play my Harpy over here, even though we want this to fill up with actions, just because we're hoping that this will soak a bit of damage.
So much for a clean escape.
And right now things look relatively bleak, right? It looks like on paper we're falling behind pretty far, but the truth is it's not as bad as it looks. Rising of Bones, by the way, is a fantastic choice in this particular encounter because you get to do fun things like make a guard, get a free creature, and then we can go ahead and let's sacrifice this and make a guard, and then we'll get a 0-cost creature as well. Again, right now we're... Oh, interesting. So the cost, as you saw, was technically a 0 for the second Rising Bones, but it still counts as a 4, so that works out really well for us, all things considered. And we're going to leave this here. If they want to trade into it, then that's fine. It's the same as if we traded, but if they ignore it, then we get some added benefits, so...
Meet your doom. I hear and obey. Into the
Alright,
breach.
this worked out really well for us.
Who goes there?
Midnight Sweep is also a card you can consider in this encounter. I'm actually not running it in my list. I opted for Mummify instead just because I wanted more guaranteed answers to difficult things, but it is entirely acceptable. I mean, Thorana is a lot of cheeky fun, but I don't think it's what we want right now, sadly. So we're going to let that go. And we're going to go ahead and execute this and see what our 1-cost creature is. And then we've got a lot of options here when we go to play this Necromancer. But Harpy and Wardcrafter seem to make the most sense. So we're going to go ahead and play a Necromancer and find ourselves the Wardcrafter.
Watch yourself now.
And then it's going to buff up our squad over here pretty significantly because 2 creatures entered play. Sanctuary Raid is obviously not great for us, but the good news is our opponent, their resources are dwindling, and we are now in Dawn's Wrath range, so we're gonna go ahead and do the Dawn's Wrath. Seems to be some pretty good value for us, especially getting the giant as well, and because they've gained a ton of health from Hannah Daggeth, we can go ahead and start attacking. And now at this point we just kind of slowly take control of the game.
Behold my power.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna again play this Bruma here, mostly because we're gonna want to gain some health as we create other creatures. Interesting. I think let's just cast into time on the 5th Legion Trainer to make a 5-cost. We'll run this over as well. We'll save the dagger. Alright. Lots of fun things we can do. Let's start with a Mummify here. Just because we want to see what it creates over here for us. That's kind of adorable. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Seems like a good card to draw.
The tribunal's lackeys.
Whoops.
I have no
I do not
patience
mean
for fools.
to meet
Behold my power.
meet our opponent in a verbal dispute. And I don't think we want to break runes this turn. We'll go ahead and wait till next turn. We also don't want to soul tear quite yet because we won't get a free creature out of it. So we're going to go ahead and take the ramp. And again, we'll just save the dagger for now. And then next turn, barring something crazy, and we didn't see any, now we can go on the offensive. Let's go ahead and just get in for a lot of damage.
I will end you.
And
I have no
so far,
patience for
so good.
fools.
And that's going to be it. Even with a prophecy here, the Encano will be enough to finish him.
Let none defile our temple.
I was just about to say, the only prophecy they have is Knight of the Hour that gains health, as far as I know. The last time I did this encounter, I didn't see a Dark Harvester or anything, but even still, we had plenty. So that's it. You just take control of the board, try to utilize your actions to generate free value, focus more on running them out of resources, and then you'll just eventually overwhelm the opponent, and that's it. That's the encounter. As I said, this deck list theoretically works for choosing both lanes and for the Mage Tower lane, and if you want to do just the flanking lane, I would highly recommend something like Token Crusader. So if you're struggling, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may you walk on warm sands.